I've also been asked to actually just do like a little bit of revision on company car fringe benefits. I've done a very detailed calculation. So this is about as hard as it gets for one car. So it says Mrs. A had the following information up until her date of retirement on 14 May. So note she's retiring on 14 May. The car cost 300 ex VAT of 14% on 1 March 2018. The car was given to her to use on 1 December 2019. She used the car till the date of retirement this year. She paid 12,300 for private fuel, 4,800 towards maintenance. She also paid the company R1,000 a month for you to use the car. For May, the R1,000 a month was reduced to 452. She kept a logbook and recorded 2,850 business kilometers for the period 1 March until the date of retirement. The car traveled 4,300 kilometers in total for the year to date. Calculate the company car fringe benefit. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to establish what the determined value is of the car. 300,000 ex VAT. So what do we need to do? We need to include the VAT into that calculation. Look what happened, guys. It was bought on 1 March 2018, but was given to her to use about 18 months later on 1 December 2019. There's been one completed year before she got use of that car. So what's going to happen? The determined value is 300,000, add back the VAT, and because it was in 2018 when the VAT rate was 14% times 1.14, and because someone used it for more than a year, before she was given it, you can reduce it by 15% times by 0.85. Determined value 290,700. The next thing we need to do is we need to establish whether this car has got a maintenance plan or not. There's no mention of a maintenance plan inside here. So what are we going to do? We are going to say 3.5%, but remember she used it until 14 May. So watch what we're going to do with the fringe benefit. It's 3.5%. Why? Because no maintenance plan. Times the determined value, 290,700, times 2 months and 14 out of 31 days. So if you're going to do this calculation, just to show you how it works, you're going to say 14 divided by 31. That's the portion of the month you've used, plus 2. So if you've used it for 2.4516 months, times 290,700 times 0.035%, 24,944. So that's what we're going to get for that. What can we do? We can take off the business portion of the travel. So kept a logbook and recorded 2,850 business kilometers. Car travel 4,300 kilometers in total. So what are we going to do? We're going to say 24,944 times by, and the business portion is 2,850 divided by 4,300 total kilometers. So we can take off an amount of 16,53265. There we go. There's the amount that's taken off. What then happens, guys, is we paid for the car. How much did we pay for the car? 1,000 Rand a month. So 2 months, 2,000 plus 452. We can take the amounts that we paid. Please note, you take the business portion of the fringe benefit. You don't reduce the 2,452 off it and times it. We had a test with this in it earlier in the year. A lot of people were taking the 2,452 off before doing the business travel. What happens now? We pay for private fuel. So how does private fuel work? Because you've already taken off the business portion, you can only take off the private portion now because the business portion's been removed. So if you have a look here with fuel, there's only 1,450 private kilometers. And what do we need to do? We need to use the table. Determined value is 290,000. So what's the fuel cost on this table? 184 cents over there. So what do we get to do? we get to take off 184 cents times by just the private kilometers. Remember that business kilometers already off. And as far as maintenance is concerned, any other costs we've got, we paid how much towards maintenance? 4,800 towards maintenance. Now remember, we've removed the business portion out. So what can we do if we pay for maintenance? We can remove the private portion off now. So where this one was 2850 divided by 4,300, this one is 4,800, the maintenance cost that we paid for, and times by the private 1450 over 43, we can take off the 1619. And that'll leave you with a taxable fringe benefit of 1672. So this is very detailed calc. These are the 5 things that can go into the question. Calc of the fringe benefits, take off business, take off amount paid, take off sundry costs other than fuel, take off fuel costs. If you know how to do this, you should be able to do fine on a company car fringe benefit for a single car inside the exam.